What's going on, guys? Krusty Case here from the Gold Boys Network, coming to the MLB slate preview for June 24th. Before we hop into this one, I want to remind everybody you can get all these odds at FanDuel Sportsbook. But let's not waste any more time. Let's hop right into this slate. So the first one, we have the Cleveland Guardians traveling to Baltimore, taking on the Orioles. This is Tanner Bybee versus Cade Pavich. I'm pretty big here on Baltimore. Baltimore on the money line, minus 120, super playable. And I just think this is a tough spot for Cleveland. They come in not hitting lefties well at all. Just a 212 batting average, WRC plus below 100 over the last 30 days. And then on the other side, you got Baltimore, who at home, we all know, just a better team. And they enter this one against righties. I believe their batting average is like just under 300, WRC plus of 160. So, I mean, just absolutely crushing right-handed pitching. And don't get me wrong, Bybee's been outstanding, but this is just a brutal matchup. So obviously, Cade Pavich, this will be the first time that the Guardians will see him. He's a rookie. Not really any kind of sample size to go off of. On the flip side, though, obviously, Orioles, majority of them haven't even seen Bybee either. So I do think this thing stays relatively low scoring, but I think Baltimore's comes out on top simply because their offense is humming and they're at home. I think for Cleveland, it's a tough spot to have to go on the road to Baltimore and face a lefty who, like I said, over the last 30 days, you've really been struggling to hit lefties overall. So give me Baltimore on the money line here. Our next one, the Philadelphia Phillies traveling to Detroit to take on the Tigers. We have Aaron Nola versus Casey Mize. Phillies minus 175 on the money line. I'm not going to go there just because I don't love that price, but I'm going to go the Phillies team total over. So Casey Mize is the guy who gets a lot of hard contact. We all know that. Phillies top 5 hitting against right-handed pitching over the last 30 days. Really like them to get to Mize here. Obviously, their bats have been a little inconsistent as of late. Definitely not winning, the way they were early on. Still a great team, no doubt, though. And like I said, over the last 30 days, pull a number for you so I don't get it wrong. WRC plus 115, which puts them at the 9th best in all of baseball. So, still hitting righties really well. Mize is the guy who gives a lot of contact. Obviously, Nola's not a guy I love to back, so that's kind of why I opted for the team total. But, if you want to put their money line in a money line parlay, I think it works out. Tigers last 30 days, WRC plus just 71 against right-handed pitching. So, really not generating any sort of offense. So, great spot to attack. Like I said, if you want to put the money line in a parlay, I think it's great. But I'm going to go with the Phillies team total over. Our next one, the Seattle Mariners taking on Tampa Bay Rays. This is Brian Wu versus Taj Bradley. So, as you guys all know, I'm a big Taj Bradley guy. One of my favorite young pitchers in all of baseball. He gets a pretty good matchup here in terms of strikeouts. Obviously, we all know Seattle likes to strike out. They've been a bit better as of late. Definitely a team where you have to be able to put the ball in the strike zone against them. They're definitely not expanding the zone like they were early in the season. In terms of the side here, this one's pretty tricky, though, because you get two teams, both about league average last 30 days versus righties. WRC plus right around 100 for both. Brian Wu is a guy, he's been really good, too. So, for me in this one, I'm going to go with the first 5 under. I like these two starters to deal. Like I said, neither team really scorching the ball right now. They're about league average. And I just think these pitchers are both outstanding. So I want to watch these two righties work. Probably still a little bit of a duel here early on. First 5 under, I wouldn't be surprised to see like a 1-0, 1-1 type deal after 5. Our next one, the Pittsburgh Pirates taking on Cincinnati Reds. Bailey Falter versus Carson Spire. So, these are two teams just saw each other. Two pitchers that just saw these teams. I'm on the over. In these hyper proximity starts, especially with guys who really aren't like ace type guys, like quality starter type guys, I always lean towards runs. It's obviously an advantage for the hitters to be seeing these guys again for a second time so close together. And Spires is a guy who's given up a lot of hard contact the first time we saw the Pirates. I only expect that to get worse the second time. Bailey Falter, what are you gonna say about Bailey Falter? He's been consistently average. That's the easiest way to put it. He sees the Reds team who, I hate backing them. Truthfully, I hate backing their bats because they're just horribly inconsistent. But again, a close proximity type start. I really like runs here. I think this thing soars over, especially being a Great American Ballpark. Our next one, the Toronto Blue Jays taking on the Boston Red Sox. Chris Bassett versus Tanner Houck. Give me the Red Sox in the first 5 here. I love Tanner Houck. I know it's a close proximity start, which like I said, I hate. And these schedule makers did some weird stuff this season where a lot of these teams play each other within 6 times in a week span. It's just kind of weird. But I just like Houck. He's been really good this season. He's a guy who I feel Alex Cora trust, and he's going to leave him out there. So I like him to go out and pitch well. Toronto over the last 30 days, WRC plus of 88, so below league average. And then you have Boston coming in against righties, WRC plus of 129, second best in all of baseball over that same span. They've been better at home. I like them to get runs off Bassett. I think Huck has a nice outing for us. Like I said, we only need him to hold down the first 5. Boston hopefully gets us a run or 2, which they should, and we get a cash. Our next one, the Atlanta Braves take on St. Louis Cardinals. This is Spencer Schwellenbach versus Lance Lynn. Man, Braves minus 125 on the road. I mean, it's the Braves. I have a hard time, trusting them right now. Their bats just continue to show me that I shouldn't trust them. But, I mean, that's where I lean here. I like the Braves. I just think Lance Lynn's going to be in for a rough outing. Obviously, heavily reliant on the fastball. I mean, the Braves haven't been great offensively, don't get me wrong. Last 30 days, last 2 weeks, whatever you want to look at, they're below league average, not hitting well at all. But this feels like one of those spots where they're facing a guy where you kind of know what you're going to see, and I feel like they might be able to take advantage, kind of get the bats going a little bit. Marcell Ozuna should definitely be in for a nice day. Matt Olson maybe finally get it going a bit. So I like them to get some runs. Schwellenbach, a guy obviously the Cardinals aren't familiar with, so I think he could take advantage of that. Ultimately pitch pretty well here. Give us a solid 5 innings. Turn it over to that Braves bullpen who's a little scary, but hopefully the Braves have enough runs where it ain't gonna matter. Our next one, the Los Angeles Dodgers taking on Chicago White Sox. James Paxton versus Garrett Crochet. It is Garrett Crochet day, ladies and gentlemen. We all know where I'm going. It is the White Sox in the first 5. We get them plus half a run here, which is awesome. And it's very playable because it's the Dodgers. So this is an interesting spot, though, right? Because, Crochet, we all know, probably the best pitcher in the AL this season statistically, but you wouldn't know it because the White Sox stink. Really tough spot, though. Dodgers crushing lefties over the last month. WRC plus is 160 over the last 250 plate appearances. So obviously a very tough matchup for him. But when you look at the lefties they've faced, I'm not sold. I pulled it up earlier. I can try to pull it up again for you guys real quick here. But I'll talk about the White Sox while I pull that up. So the White Sox, they're facing James Paxton. They're quietly crushing lefties right now too. And Paxton's a guy heavily reliant on the fastball. We've all seen it. I think Paxton can get touched up here. I think the White Sox can get some runs. And ultimately, that's what really makes me like this first 5 even more. Obviously, it's a system play. Garrett Crochet's on the mound. We take the White Sox in the first 5. But I really do think that they can get some runs here because, like I said, Paxton, he hasn't been great. He somehow has a great record, but it's because of the team he plays for. And I think the White Sox can get to him, get us some runs. And I think Crochet can, do what he does and keep us in this thing in the first 5. Ultimately, get us a win here. Those lefties against the Dodgers, like I was mentioning. The last 3... Patrick Sandoval, Ty Blatch, Austin Gomber. You'd have to go back to June 14th was Cole Reagans, and he went 7 innings and only allowed 3 runs. So, for me, I like Cole Reagans a lot. I think Garrett Crochet is that much better, and we get the Dodgers away from Dodger Stadium here. So, give me the White Sox in the first 5. They get this one done for us.
Wait, before we get back to the picks, I wanted to thank you all for watching. Friends don't let friends watch videos without hitting the like button. So go ahead and press the thumbs up button and like the video. If you're new here and not subscribed, you should go ahead and do so because we're dropping new content each and every day on the Gold Boys Network. We strive to cover every sport and give out picks and analysis and valuable information for free on the Gold Boys Network. So make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell so you can get notified when we drop something new. I'm Brad Thomas. Let's get back to the picks.
Our next one, the Miami Marlins taking on the Kansas City Royals. Rodri Munoz versus Cole Reagans. So this is an interesting one. I like Cole Reagans a lot here. I think he pitches really well. Royals minus 240 on the money line. I'm not laying that. I'll go with the Royals minus 1.5. You can even go with the player performance though with Reagans if you'd like. Miami against lefties over the last month or so. 26% K rate versus left-handed pitching. Obviously, they haven't seen anybody as good as Reagans. Really think he can sit these boys down. Really think he's in for a big game, truthfully. We saw Mackenzie Gore absolutely annihilate this lineup. Feel like it's definitely a similar situation. So the Marlins against lefties last month, WRC plus is 67. They're absolutely terrible against lefties. I think Reagan, especially at home, just pitches really well here. Like I said, Royals, minus 1.5. I think it's definitely in play. Rodri Munoz, he had a really good start 2 starts ago, kind of came back to reality. And I think against this Royals team at home, it's just a tough spot. They hit righties really well. They're pretty good about getting early contact. So Munoz could realistically pitch decently deep into this game unless he's just absolutely losing his ass. But ultimately, I like the Royals to get some runs because Munoz is a guy who will walk guys. We've all seen it. The command's not always there. And then when he does throw it in the zone, he has a tendency to kind of leave it like middle in where guys want it, because I'm not necessarily sure he knows where it's going all the time. So I like the Royals to get us runs, ultimately get us the win here. Royals minus 1.5. Our next one, the Texas Rangers taking the Milwaukee Brewers. Michael Lorenzen versus Freddie Peralta. Milwaukee minus 165 on the money line. I'm going to go there. Obviously, use it in a parlay. I wouldn't take it as a straight, but I just love them with Freddie on the bump. Texas continues to struggle just overall offensively. Last 450 plate appearances, which is a very big sample size in my opinion, against righties. Batting average of 208, WRC plus of 62. That is the lowest in baseball over that span. So the Rangers, I mean, we all know them, World Series champs, great team, great lineup. They're not hitting. I'm not necessarily sure you're going to find it against Freddie. So give me the Milwaukee on the money line here. In terms of offense, they're right around league average over the last 30 days. But at home, they're a different team. That team at home, I don't know. Maybe they got the garbage cans like Houston or something, but man, at home, offensively, they touch everybody up, it seems like. So I think Lorenzen likely gets tagged here. I think the Brewers, probably put up decent 4 or 5 runs for us, and then Freddie kind of gets it into cruise control and just takes us home. So give me Milwaukee on the money line. Our next one is the Oakland Athletics taking on Los Angeles Angels. Luis Medina versus Griffin Canning. It's not very often you're going to see Oakland as a pick'em, but that's what we have here. So you got 2 teams against righties, low league average, WRC plus of 83 and 84 respectively. Batting average is almost identical as well. K%. I mean, these teams are almost mirror images of each other the last 30 days. Biggest difference for me is the zone contact, chase contact rates. Angels are considerably higher. So I like the Angels here, regrettably, because Griffin Canning has been absolutely terrible, but Luis Medina hasn't been great either. So it's a gross game, probably a game that I don't have a ton of confidence in. But just looking at the numbers, looking at some of the advanced metrics, the Angels, in my opinion, are the better hitting team, even if the stats don't necessarily show it right now. So give me the Angels on the money line. I think they can get to Medina. Hopefully Canning can at least hold it together for us enough to get it to the bullpen. But I think the Angels get the win here. Our next one, the Nationals taking on San Diego Padres. Patrick Corbin versus Matt Waldron. I mean, this is an interesting one here because the Padres were crushing lefties before. They've cooled off quite a bit. WRC plus still over 100. I mean, I like the Padres here at minus 215. I mean, I'm not going to play as a straight, but again, nice parlay piece. I like them on the money line. I hate taking them on the run line because their offense stinks. I just can't trust them personally. But I mean, I like Waldron to pitch relatively well. He's been really good this season. Obviously, knuckleball, not something that teams regularly see. So you get a Washington team, which while they're hitting pretty well against righties, I think it could take them a little bit to adjust here. We've seen teams, some of the best hitting teams struggle against this guy. We saw the Phillies, look absolutely just confused the entire time. So I think he pitches well. I think the Padres do win this one. Like I said, give me him on the money line. Throw it in your parlay. I think they get this one done. Hey guys, I just want to give a quick reminder that new users can bet $5 at FanDuel on any of the bets in this video and win $150 in bonus bets if the bet wins. Now let's get back to the bets. Our next one, the last one on the slate, is the Chicago Cubs taking on the San Francisco Giants. This is Justin Steele versus, I believe it's Spencer Howard. It isn't officially announced yet, but I'm sure it's going to be that same thing we've seen where Spencer Howard pitches like 3-4 innings, and it's kind of like a bullpen game type deal. Giants over the last 2 weeks are crushing lefties. WRC plus is about 150. They look really good. Justin Steele's a guy who, I like Justin Steele a lot, but away from Wrigley, I don't love him as much. Giants offensively much better at home. So give me the Giants on the money line here. It's definitely not going to be a popular play with Spencer Howard on the mound, but this Cubs team, the offense is just gross right now. Anybody who's been paying attention, they can't hit runners in scoring position. They get guys on all the time, but with runners in scoring position, they are the worst team in baseball. And it's funny because I saw something the other day. They pulled up the metrics, and like the first 2 months of the season when they were winning and they looked really good, they were the best hitting team with guys on. And now they are the worst hitting team by a wide margin. I mean, we're talking like batting average under like 150. It's absolutely terrible with guys on base. So I really just think the Giants are the play here. I mean, obviously I love Justin Steele. He's definitely a guy that I enjoy backing. But I mean, Cubs right now, right around league average against righties. Spencer Howard has oddly looked decent. This Giants coaching staff maybe figured something out. But these bullpen games are always tricky for teams, in my opinion, too, because you don't see the same pitcher likely for more than one at bat. So I like the Giants here on my line. I think they get this one done. That does conclude our slate, though. If you guys do me a favor, drop a like, drop a comment. Sorry I've been so inconsistent as of late. I just had a lot of stuff going on, real life stuff. So hopefully get back in the swing of things here. Hopefully have them going all week. Before I hop off, though, let me give you my 3 favorite plays. We're going with Baltimore on the money line. Absolutely love that. The Phillies team total over. Absolutely love that. And last, certainly not least, we are going to go with the Giants on the money line. Think they get that one done. Probably shock quite a few people, but that's where I'm at. As always, you can get all of my official plays at goldboys.com. If you have a gambling problem, dial 1-800-GAMBLER. Thank you, guys.